Hey, it's going to be a very interesting match as the closing stages of the season are upon us. August has arrived, the finals before finals as some like to call it, and today it's the 4th placed Port Districts Football Club coming against the 5th placed Tea Tree Gully as the battle for that mid-table period and that last hanging final spot really starts to heat up. And joining me in the commentating box, of course, I'm Indiana Rogers, and with me is Nathan Woods. Good afternoon, Nathan.
Good afternoon, Indy. Good to be here. The weather looks quite good, a bit of a breeze. The oval's in good nick, and really excited today for this clash between Port Districts and Tea Tree Gully. Obviously a lot on the line with Tea Tree Gully just holding 5th at the moment, but have Brighton and both Broadview breathing down their necks for that 5th spot. So both sides have lost their last 3 games, so certainly one of these sides looking forward to breaking back into the winner's circle, and it's going to be an intriguing day, and looking forward to it.
Yeah, really excited for the action coming this afternoon. And not to mention, we talk about Tea Tree Gully, Broadview and Brighton. They're all 6 wins, 8 losses on the ladder, all contending for that 5th spot, but they all come up against top 4 teams this weekend. Tea Tree has it easiest by default, if you can even really call it easy, which I wouldn't, against Port District, who are trying to break a 3-game losing streak at this stage and need to get back on the winners list to stay in touch with the other top 3 teams that they'll be contending with. As the reigning premiers, we know what type of damage they can do in the finals. But then the other games going around, Broadview have to come up against the top table Glenunga and cause a huge upset there if they can. And then Brighton will have to face off against Sacred Heart. So not much of a road trip there, but definitely a big on-field challenge. So there's a lot to take place in this coming afternoon across the league. But what we're going to be focusing on is the game in front of us at Largs Bay, of course. Port Districts looking to break that 3-game losing streak, and Tea Tree Gully looking to cement a spot in 5th position, although it will be far from cemented even if the result does go their way this afternoon. But it will be almost a compulsory step if they are to do so. Just a quick update for those. The Div 1 reserves match, the one that was previously to this one, was 53-32 Port Districts way. So the home team had a strong finish in the second half of that last quarter to get the win, 7 goals 11 to 4 goals 8. The last time these A-grade teams came up against each other was all the way back in round 6. It was a low-scoring fest up in Tea Tree Gully. It was 2 goals 9, 21 to 7 goals 6, 48. So in a lot of ways you could say Tea Tree almost shot themselves in the foot that day, just with their lack of accuracy in front of goals. But that's potentially a big area for improvement today, Nathan.
Yes, most definitely. 2 goals 9 was the last time they kicked, so yeah, they'll be looking to kick a lot straighter today, and I think it's going to be a pretty close game today. Both sides, as we said, are really desperate for a win, and I saw Broadview give a good account of themselves here about 5 weeks ago, and really took it to Port Districts, and as you said, Port Districts aren't in the best of form at the moment, so Tea Tree Gully will fancy themselves out here today of causing an upset, and it's always really important to get off to a good start away from home out here at Largs, so I'm sure the pressure's going to be on early, and Tea Tree Gully would like to try and get some ascendancy early and have a real crack at Port Districts.
It'll be exciting to see. Now, just some players to look out for. I'll talk about some Tea Tree Gully players to look out for. Of course, Luke Brown and Blake Penny. They're the players we know can perform really well. But it's also going to be down to the Mackay brothers and the Persinos brothers to really start cranking up the intensity, and their on-ball mix has been a little bit weaker of recent. They started the season well, but it has sometimes just been down to too much relying on too few. I mean, Luke Brown, yes, we know he's a former AFL veteran, but don't treat him like one. Treat him like another player in your 22 in the squad. So that'll be a really important thing to keep in mind. But who are some Port Districts players to look out for?
Yeah, obviously the Gray brothers are very important players. Sam Gray will be in the middle and go up forward. His brother, Tom Gray, he'll also be important up forward. He kicked 4 goals, I think, last time I was out here against Broadview. Niska Hoss is an important player for them. In the ruck, Mackay will also be important. Shepherd up forward, he can also do some damage. And back in defence, Gaffney is an important player as well. He'll do a lot of the kick-outs on his beautiful left foot. So, lots of good players for Port Districts to look out for today as well.
And it looks like as the teams come out of their huddles, we can see Gavin Shepherd is staying in his respective goal square. So that means the home team will be kicking to the right of screen in this opening term. And then there's Tea Tree's squad They're spending a little bit of extra time in the huddle, and you do question sometimes if that extra time in the huddle is going to be enough to really turn the tide sometimes, because what it can actually mean is more time spent reflecting on yourself, and can either lead to a huge change on the on-field performance, or it can sometimes even lead to too much distraction from what's going on in front of you. But nevertheless, the Sharon is in readiness. The umpires getting into positions now as the players do the same. It's a really nice afternoon at Largs Bay. Overcast weather. We're not expecting any wet, dewy conditions to come down. And as August, we'll see the rest of the world start to heat up down under here in Australia. We'll also see the actual ground conditions start to improve as well. You can see muddy patches on the field at both ends, but all of them quite dry at the moment, not too deep and not too shabby, so that'll be really nice for the players, particularly the on-ballers, because even that cricket pitch in the middle not looking too bad at all. So there's a lot to look forward to this afternoon. A finals shaping game, as we said. Finals before finals. Port Districts and Tea Tree Gully, 4th v 5th. So much at stake for both of these teams. Northeast versus Northwest. The siren to open the game comes underway. Getting involved in the ruck early was Liam Ferns. High ball goes up in the centre circle. Difficult for anyone to win that, but Gaffney managed to make something good out of it. It goes down the forward direction for Port District, but Tea Tree Gully had the setup. They refer wide out to the near side wing, and the mark is completed by Cody Tate. But his kick is smothered. Turnover looming. It'll be handed off. Nish Cahoos going far and darting it out to a teammate. Really nicely done. Just shows the basic turnovers will be incredibly costly today. And that one, it's uncommon to see Smothers lead directly to turnovers, but it's even less common to see Smothers come from kicks that were paid from a mark. So it just shows that they can't afford to be off pace, Tea Tree Gully. Meanwhile, Port, through Gavin Shepherd, we know he can kick big goals in big games. Can he kick the first of this one? No, look at the wind carry that. So, bit of an update on conditions. The wind definitely blowing cross-side to the outer wings, so that'll make a big difference on set shots.
Tea Tree Gully bringing the ball back in to a dangerous spot, straight to Niskahos, who takes the mark about 50 metres out. He swings onto his right boot. On the lead, beautiful kick, but just goes over the head of Sam Gray. Chasing the ball out there is Tyler Martin. He's tackled over the line by Harry Dwyer, and there'll be a ball up about 30 metres out from the Port District's goal. So plenty of players inside the forward 50 here. The throw in. Beautiful tap there. Straight to the Gully's rover, and he kicks it forward, and the mark's taken by Harley. Harley gives the handball to the running Verrill through the middle. Good use of the body up there by Brown, and he's going to get a free kick as well. So Luke Brown just used the body well there, about 55 metres out. Guys calling for it in the centre. One of them was Cansdell. Early jump there from Spittle. Port District's player will take it through for a minor score. So the visitors on the board first. Now Cooper Gaffney on that nice left foot. Beautiful pass, finds Carpentry. Carpentry also on the left, another nice disposal. So a bit too easy there. Port Districts move the ball really well out to Tommy Gray on the wing. He takes a sliding mark. So 3 pinpoint kicks. Tommy Gray goes forward, looking for Sam. Sam flies at the back. Sam Gray. Ball spills over the back there and rushed over for a boundary throw in approximately 40 metres out from the Port District's goal. So good movement from Port Districts. One into another with some nice kicks. So Big Penny in the ruck. Been a force all year up against Ferns. Uncontested Ferns, gets it down to Gray. Sam Gray uses his body, turns around and kicks a goal. Great use of the feet there from Tom Gray, showing his clever AFL experience. Sam Gray, and Sam Gray puts the first goal through for Port District, so they go to one straight goal, leading the visitors Tea Tree Gully one behind.
Great stuff there from Sam Gray. We know he can put together a classy finish, but X Factor will be the key to their chances in finals as well, you think? So potential preview there for Sam Gray. Another really nice one to add to the list. Also, quick update for those keeping track of the best players on ground. We will be giving Archie Thongs and Dartfish Beanie out to the best players, we always do, but we cannot publicly announce who it is anymore because within the dying rounds of the season, the mystery surrounding the Roll the Dice Media, the award year player, will be looming and need to be kept secret until a winner is decided. But it comes back to the middle now as the focus is back on ball. High contact. Trent Heffernan is going to take the ball back, so another centre clearance win for Port. They play it safe. Shepherd again. Kicks it off. Gray gets his hands onto it. Does Tom Gray, but he wastes no time. He references out wide to the half-forward flank, finds a vacant teammate, and it was all too easy in the end. Daniel Passanti. In fact, Daniel Passaniti, pardon my French, he's the one who kicked the goal, but he was just one bit of that play. Really, that was flawless football out of the centre square, and they'll need a little bit better than that, Tea Tree Gully, to kind of address the flow.
Yeah, some loose checking there. I'm not sure how the Port District's player got loose there. Passaniti was all on his lonesome inside 50, and Tea Tree Gully just need to man up and be a bit tighter here as the Rucks go back at it. Ferns and Penny. Ball's on the ground there, knocked tap forward by Port Districts. They've started well here. Here's the goal kicker. Passaniti. There's a bit of a wrestle going on here. So Passaniti's got the ball on the wing here. Port Districts have a bright start. It's called to play on now. Kicks the ball out wide. Contest there. Penny and Ferns, the two ruckmen go at it. Ball spools down towards Tom Gray. Tyler Martin's there as well. Slammed off the boot. Here's Sam Gray. He gets tackled well. Penny now. Handball out wide. Here go Tea Tree Gully. A good kick inside. Inboard. Finds Spittle. Spittle now hooks that one a bit, but it's going to land in the arms of Josh Flynn. Flynn now over to Robinson. Robinson squares the ball, but it's missed the target. And Port Districts now mop up in defence. So Gaffney on the left foot out wide looking for Shepherd. It's a good kick, but well spoiled by Zach Mackay. Port District's player now. It's a bit scrappy over there. Gaffney comes back in. He'll get wrapped up though on the outer wing. And there'll be a ball up. Ferns and Penny. Ball spills out to Mitch Gaffney. He belts the ball and the wind takes that out of bounds on the full. So it'll be Josh Spence to bring it back in on the outer wing. As you see the wind really carry that ball over there. Strong breeze going across the ground to the east. So Tea Tree Gully just need a steady here. So Spence, long ball down the wing. And a good mark there taken by Flynn. Flynn plays on through the middle here now. What can Tea Tree Gully do? Out wide. Kick's just going to go over the head of Mackay. He grabs the ball now. Pursued by Piacetti. A good tackle. Passaniti, sorry it is. He started well. A couple of good tackles. A good goal. He goes inboard short now. Finds Niska Hoss. And he's going to get 25 there. Unnecessary from Harley. Made him earn it. Dragged him to ground. And 25 here to Niska Hoss. So Port Districts are going to go into attack again, looking for their third goal. He centres it first. So Wiestra pinpoints a kick. Oh, clash of bodies there. Slow to get up. He's can't quite see the Port Districts player there, number 15. It is Harrison Hawkins. So, but Penny's got the ball now. About 30 metres out from Port District's goal. Looking for options. He just bangs that, a long kick into the middle. Tea Tree Gully, two players there. Needed a bit of voice. All spills out here now to Napa. Goes in forward. What can they do up forward? Ball goes over the back. Port District's player tackling. He's been pinged holding the ball. Port Districts will clear now. About 40 metres from Gully's goal.
It's a bit of a boomerang-like football game at the moment. Ball going from one end to the other. These past couple of minutes at the very least. Shmush passed it off to a teammate who did the same, but this time unsuccessfully. Teacher trying to get the numbers around. And it'll be a ball up on the far side in front of the scoreboard, around the scoreboard flank. 2 goals, nothing 12 to no goal, 1 point. 1 point. Teacher finding themselves hanging behind. Ball goes to the centre of the ground. Teacher the first to it. This is Zach Mackay. Around the body, into the forward line. They've got a set shot opportunity now. Something for the Tea Tree Gully fans to cheer about now as the Wolves look to finally get their first goal of the match. Try and get a better look at who exactly is taking this set shot, but Nathan and I are both leaning over on the commentating scaffold to really get a good look at this one. And that's not even talking about the shot itself. It doesn't matter who it was. In fact, he probably wants to keep his name discreet at that point because it was out of bounds on the full. No one likes to take credit for that. All the way in the back pocket. Looks like it'll come back to the hands of Matthew Wiestra. He goes out far and wide. Spoils there. Somehow still managed to get it out goal side, but not for long. Tea Tree with extra numbers around, but some handball traffic starts to come together for Port. Now they go long down the wing. There's a whistle for a downfield by the looks. I reckon that's going to go to Sam Gray. It will. So he looks forward and assesses the options. Kicks into the forward 50. It's chopped out. And it'll be a boundary throw-in over at the far side of the ground as the wind definitely taking it towards that part of the field. Just picking up a little bit in pace here. Definitely within the 10 to 15k range. Oh. Didn't get rid of it properly. No, he did not, sir. Mitchell Gaffney now with the free kick. He can take the set shot if he wants, but he might choose not to depending on how things play out. He's looking at the options, none really presenting with a lot of strong determination. Seems more confident in the set shot. Steps off, goes long, does Mitchell Gaffney. Almost made it to the line, but not quite. Now Blake Penny instead with the intercept as the last line of the defence, and Tea Tree need to find a way to come coast to coast here.
A big grab by Penny in the goal square. He pumps it long. Player, the captain Davison, flies from behind, gets a fist on it. That man Passanidi again now gives the ball to Shmush. Shmush inboard, chopped off there by James Harley, and now there'll be a ball up as Heffernan's just remonstrating there, wasn't happy with something from one of the Wolves players, and there'll be a throw up. So Penny, Ferns jumps over him this time. Gaffney, ball spills out again to Ferns. Tea Tree Gully grabbed the ball. Dangerous left foot kick. Falls over the back, and now Cooper Gaffney on the left foot, goes out wide. It's a beautiful kick, straight down the throat of Sam Gray. That left foot of Cooper Gaffney can be very damaging, and Sam Gray's taken the mark about 45 metres out. Tough kick from over there. He'll be kicking into the breeze. And about just inside the forward 50. So Sam Gray going for his second goal here. In he comes, approaches 50. About 45, gives it a good ride. Just goes across the face of goal and punts through for a minor score. So Port Districts get their first minor. They go to 2-1-13. Tea Tree Gully just the 1 point so far. In comes the ball. Nice kick from Tea Tree Gully. The Port Districts have just built a wall back here, so they've come over here though, found the loose man in Spittle. He's taken high or from front on contact, so Spittle. The They're just going to bring it back here as Penny and Passaniti just on the mark there, having a bit of a push, and the ball's going to be brought back to Spittle. So Spittle goes in short and finds Wilson. It's all a bit slow here for Tea Tree Gully at the moment. Wilson now pumps it into around 50. Pack flies. Port Districts get a quick kick out. Ball picked up again by Spittle though. He goes forward to a one-on-one. Bit of holding going on down there. Punched out of bounds by the Port Districts defender there. I think it might have been Davison. Just can't quite pick it up. But it's where Tea Tree Gully want it, deep in their forward pocket. They'd love a goal now. Port Districts have done a lot of the attacking. So a throw in about 15 metres out. What can Tea Tree Gully do? Can they get a stoppage goal here? Friday in the ruck this time. Ball spills out to Wilson. He's had a hurried shot at goal and it's wayward. The wind takes that out of bounds on the full. So Port Districts to bring the ball back in now. Just can't get a clean entry at the moment, Tea Tree Gully. Port Districts pushing numbers back. So kick towards the 50. Good mark taken over there. Port Districts move the ball on quickly. Heffernan on the lead, takes the mark. He's looking to move it on quickly. Some players stream past. Chips it over the top. But well cut off and a good spoil, but falls into the hands of Gould. Gould now centres the ball, but it's all Tea Tree Gully back there. Zach Mackay takes the mark. What can they do now, Tea Tree Gully? They're going to bring it through the middle. Ryan Spittle had a bit of it lately. Goes out wide, gets underneath it a bit, makes it tough for the player out there. Gould leads in the race. He picks up the ball. Little chip over to Heffernan. Heffernan's got an arm chop and he'll take a free kick on the outer wing. So Heffernan now, it's been a bit stop-start lately. Goes in board to Cooper Gaffney, looking for his left foot. Spears the ball, but a big turnover in the middle of the ground. Picked off by Robinson. Robinson now gives it to Personos. The ball's touched. Port Districts now, they've got a chance. Tommy Gray, he drops the mark, goes back, does well though, picks the ball up one-handed, spinning, turning, goes back to Passaniti. Passaniti now, short kick, but it's going to go out of bounds here on the closest to us on the wing, and there'll be a throw-in right in front of the grandstand side.
Once again, this boomerang style of play continuing, going from one forward 50 arc to the other without any major score. So after a really strong first 5 minutes, Port District have suddenly been slowed down. This will be one box ticked for the Tea Tree Gully defence at least, but they didn't tick a box then. They turned it over by foot. On the far side, Benjamin Gould wants to go long, but goes short to a teammate with Wiestra first. He goes a little longer. They don't hit a target by hand though. Lots of tackling pressure being reinforced in the centre square. It starts to come out the other way, but Harry Dwyer won't beat the boundary line and it'll be called touched over, so no last touch required. It'll be thrown in directly within the middle of the far side wing towards the area of the ground where the wind is blowing and doesn't really seem to be dropping off too much, so it's a fair wind. Penny in the ruck again, got two hands up. The Wolves couldn't clear the centre there, so instead it'll be Port that goes forward. Spaced it out nicely there. On the far side of the ground is that Carpeney. Goes long, one-on-one, Sam Gray. It didn't bounce for him. He was getting ready to go goal side because he expected the bounce to go forward of the ball, but it didn't. Another smothered kick. We've seen quite a few of those from the Port defence, but this time they get out of trouble. Alex Mackay finds a teammate in Friday. Just beating the ball to turf. Brody Latham now with the ball in hand. They take a moment to take a breath before going long and forward. To the advantage of numbers, but reinforcements come quickly for Port. Not in time though. Luke Brown finds himself in goal-kicking territory and consolidates. First goal of the game for the Wolves, and that a huge stress reliever as well, considering all of the pressure from those last 10 minutes of play. And that puts them back within 5 points on the scoreboard.
Yeah, showing his class there, Luke Brown. A little balk, straightened up, and from 30 drilled it nice and low. And Tea Tree Gully will be pretty happy with that. Port Districts have done a lot of attacking, but not much to show for it on the score, and the Gullies get back within 5 points here. So back in the ruck, Ferns and Penny. Penny grabs it out of the ruck, kicks it forward, hurry kick, it's going to fall into the lap there of Robinson, who dropped the mark. Now the ball goes wide, Gould spoiled, Gaffney runs after it. Persinos is there. Kick comes out though to Gould. It's touched over the line though, and there'll be a throw in about 60-70 metres out from Tea Tree's Gully goal, pressing for their second here. So this time it'll be Sam Mackay and Penny. Ball goes to the ground. Tommy Gray, quick hands out to Dwyer. Advantage paid. Ball goes over the back now. Harrison Hawkins plays on to Ferns. Ferns in front of Sam Gray. Good spoil, good battle, those two there at the moment. The ball's just kicked straight back though to Weistra it was. Weistra to Shepherd. Shepherd now to Hawkins. Hawkins a low ball. Sam Gray, good front and centre. Gets the ball back to Weistra. Weistra sending green kick. Beautiful kick. And taking the mark is Harry Dwyer. Really good unselfish play there by Weistra. Backed up, second effort. And he found Harry Dwyer, who's going to have a set shot from about 30 metres out directly in front. Tea Tree Gully went forward there, just couldn't quite capitalise. A drop mark by Robinson was important. In he comes. He likes it, straight through the middle. Harry Dwyer, great goal. Port Districts get their third. They go to 3 straight. Tea Tree Gully 1-1.
So we're picking up early that they're playing Sam Gray deep forward, which is interesting because he's never been known to have a player with a lot of height. I mean, Ken Ingley at Port Adelaide gave him that treatment, but he was never equipped to be a key forward, that's for sure. He was always far too short and undermanned, although he is a very clever ball user on the turf. So if they can just get him to be that score assist, then that's all they really need from him. He did a really nice hand pass to Weistra, and once again, Port find a little bit of daylight and distance on the scoreboard. Back to 11 points. Penny plucks it out of the ruck and clears it on his own boot, but it doesn't go far. Standing his ground, Cooper Gaffney this time. Gaffney brothers, I mean really the Mackay brothers should be taking notes about what this Gaffney pair can really do at their full strength. Here's Liam Ferns. Decided not to go through the corridor, referenced out to the wing instead. Niskahos. Good kick all the way down to Gavin Shepherd. He's outside the arc, beyond his range. Sam Gray once again the deepest option, and not really sure where that kick was going. The lead out was far too wide for Sam Gray to get onto the end on, although it won't be last touch because there were a couple of Tea Tree defenders who got a fist onto it. So instead, a throw-in it will be. In the near side pocket. Wouldn't think there'd be too much time left in this quarter. Coming to the closing stages, Penny again dominating the tap-outs. On the ground, Heffernan doing a good job, trying to trap the ball and unsuccessfully doing so, and then turned over from the clearance kick to Schmush, who contemplated a handoff quickly, but he might just go himself, Thomas Schmush. They haven't missed so far, touch wood, although we don't have any up here in the scaffold. In he comes from outside the arc. He was around a little bit to the right as he leans, but the wind retaliates with its own carry of momentum and takes it back out to the left side of goals. It doesn't matter anyway though, because Penny, once again the tallest presence, he's just like that Riley O'Brien or Nankervis or even Max Gawn type, he can take big marks behind the ball, and that's what you like from a ruckman when they got a bit of defensive play about him. That's another really good mark to follow it up. Brodie Latham wastes no time but misses the target by foot. They almost would have been out there if they could hit that one lace out. They didn't. Instead, they had to go back and win their own ball. Under a lot of pressure there, Daniel Passantini was a little lucky to get away with that one, because he just hand passed it when the ball was outside of play, but that technically could have been last touch for Daniel Passantini had things gone a little differently and had the hand pass just been a millisecond sooner. Oh, went with the fend off. Oh, but it's going to be called high. A little lucky there for Trent Heffernan. And there's going to be a 25-metre penalty. So we saw this happen a little bit in the last quarter of the B-grade game as well. Just not the best time to be talking it up with the umps. And unfortunately, we don't have much leniency on that anymore. So here's Heffernan. Goes out wide. Finds a lead. Misses the intended lead. Goes deep into the pocket. Shepherd juggling it. Gets it out to Dwyer, who goes for a snap to centre it up. There's an early call here. Is it going to be for or against the defense? It'll be for the defenders. No, in fact, it will be a set shot for Sam Gray instead. So a bit of confusion with the hand signals from the umpire, but this will be for Sam Gray's second goal, and he's already had quite a few score involvements, so this will be a disappointing way to cap off a play that could have gone the other way had Teatree just been a bit better by foot. But they've done a lot right. This, not so much right for them. Sam Gray with his second goal for the game, and a game high 18-point margin.
A couple of costly chest marks dropped by Teatree Gully. Just allowed Port Districts to turn the ball over. So they go to an 18-point lead here. Too much time left in this first quarter. They'd like to get one back here at Teatree Gully. Penny's been working hard for him. He's up against Sam Mackay here. Pay attention! So ball back in the middle. Districts by 18 points. Up goes Mackay and Penny. Penny has grabbed it out of the ruck before, gets his own ball. Cooper Gaffney slips over but sticks the left mid out and takes a good mark. So he started well in this first term, Cooper Gaffney. Onto that nice left foot. Shepherd in a one-on-one. Nearly takes the mark. Teatree Gully players wrapped up straight away. And there'll be a throw-up half-forward line for Port Districts. So up goes the ruck. Penny looks to infringe there. Pushes Mackay in the back. He looks to go quickly to Gaffney. Mitchell, that is. Batty on the lead. 1-2 grabs. And he's got it. James Batty. Dangerous forward. Another one of those medium-sized forwards. He's got a bit of pace. Good hands. And uses his body well. So pretty similar spot to where Sam Gray was earlier in the quarter. So it will be a tough kick here. Into a breeze, maybe a little bit closer in than Sam Gray was. Swings out onto the right boot. Gets good connection. Right to the square. It looks pretty good. I think it's just carried. It has. It's gone in through a goal. So great kick from James Batty out there. And Port Districts now looking ominous here. They go to 5 goals 1, 31, leading Teatree Gully 1-1-7.
All of a sudden, those 10 minutes that were spent with the ball juggling back and forth and Teatree finally getting a score, but they've gone from 5 points down to 4 goals down. An ugly turnaround. But a great goal from Batty at the very least, and I don't think there'd be too much time left in this quarter, although relatively high scoring can put together quite a bit of time on. And as far as we're concerned, with the 2:15 start time, the game would be about 29 minutes in, so it has been a long Ball up in the centre square. Penny again. Can't get it to a teammate though. Weaving their way through hand passing traffic. Trent Heffernan with the clearance. It won't get to anyone in time though, as the quarter time siren sounds for this Adelaide Footy League round 15 live stream coming to you from Largs Bay. 5 goals, 131. The home team, Port, looking really good against the Wolves, struggling at 1 goals, 1. A 4-goal game, but we'll take a break now and come back with the second quarter. Let's quickly change the setup a bit, because I reckon we need to push. That camera's too far back and we're going to get in the way if we keep putting it back. So I reckon move that box, move that bag, and get the 2 front legs that are on the same line to kind of push all the way to the front, so that way the camera can get front position. Yeah, that's it.
These poles are getting in the way as well.
Yeah, I understand that, but it's probably better to get the poles in the way than get the commentators in pitch by accident, because that'll take up the...
So, like this?
Yeah, but it's a bit skinny. Spread the legs out a bit as well so you get some better balance. Make sure the tripod is...
There we go.
Yeah, so like... They've just gone, but so a bit like, see how the 2 front legs, when they're on the same line, can actually push them all the way to the front, and the more you spread them out, the more you'll be able to get front position. So I reckon that is about as good as we get, and you may get a bit of confliction by the time you go towards that side of screen, but we're not going to be in frame anymore. So I reckon that's exactly where you'd want it. One, two, 1, 2, 1, 2.
Yep.
Picking up.
We're not getting in the way, are we? Are we alright?
Nah, too early.
Thought about moving this there.
The only thing that's getting in the way is these poles.
Is it the pole?
Yeah.
I just keep like picking it up.
It's fine. You can't, like, that's something we can't control. I just thought it'd be better to get the camera forward a bit more, so that it's not, because otherwise you're going to get the pole and us when you look to this side. And also for the second quarter, if Port District continue to dominate, then it'll be going that way a lot. Alright, so tell us when we're on air again. Welcome back to round 15 of the Adelaide Footy League, live to you from Largs Bay. At the moment, it's the home team, Port Districts, looking very comfortable over their opposition in Tea Tree Gully. 5 goals, 131 to 1 goal, 1-7. It was a quarter of, well, a really strong start, a really strong finish from the home team, but everything in between that was actually a little bit more difficult and challenging in retrospect. I think it was most of the damage done at the bookends of each quarter, but not necessarily in the midst of it. So it'll be very interesting, Nathan, to see how things play out from here. What would the solution be for Tea Tree Gully as they once again spent extra time in the huddle?
Yeah, they just were a bit loose. I think and costly turnovers as well. So a couple of drop chest marks, and Port District's on the rebound, played some fast footy, always looking to handball on, and they're dangerous up forward. So I think the backmen have just got to tighten up a little bit, and then when Tea Tree Gully go forward, just be a bit more polished and make use of their inside 50s.
Definitely knocked down and out of it, but finals potentially hanging by a thread for the 5th position team, and it might not be Tea Tree by the end of the day, although they could, even in the event of a loss, still be in 5th position if Brighton and Broadview are both to lose their respective games. And don't forget, we're live streaming all of the Adelaide Footy League games today, so keep up to date with the other results as well if it's in your best interest. And it's in the interest of pretty much all the teams right now as these ladder shaping games continue to play out. Penny not letting Trent Heffernan go anywhere with that ball and doing a good job to trap it back in the centre circle. Second attempt at a bounce. Almost lost it there, but just got away. Niskahos. Port District finding their way out. Going out wide, Shepherd sees the ball to the boundary line with his opponent. To the scoreboard half-forward flank now. Wind picks up again just in time for the quarters opening. Couple spectators by this pocket as well. And some new work to be done on this venue in the coming years as well. Club rooms to be overhauled and changed. Penny plucked it out of the ruck but wasn't allowed to go anywhere with the Sharon in hand. Another ball up from almost an identical position. Port juggling their opponents while also trying to get their hands on the Sharon. Not the best or cleanest clearance. It might work now. The Wolves go high with that ball. The wind's going to carry it a bit as well towards the centre. Almost was the mark completed by Jake Robertson, but not quite. It still goes forward for the Wolves again. Picking it off at the contest and then launching himself was William Cansdell, and probably a little bit prematurely because it's only a minor score. But that does show a little bit more ferocity and intent at the very least from the visiting team.
So Port Districts now deep in their back lines. Spearing kick, chopped off well there though by Spittle. He's having a good game, goes inboard to Luke Brown. Kicked that good goal earlier. So Brown out wide, all on his lonesome is a Tea Tree Gully player there. I think it may be number 7. It is William Cansdell. So just slipped his opponent there. Beautiful kick by Brown. Now Cansdell looking to get the visitors' Tea Tree Gully second goal. So be aiming at the right-hand goalpost here, as we've seen the strong breeze take it from right to left. So important kick coming up here. In comes Cansdell. He's just, the wind's taken that right across the face of goal and out of bounds, so tricky breeze. The Tea Tree Gully now, they'd love a little stoppage goal here. In the ruck, it's going to be Flynn this time. Up against Weistra. So Flynn and Weistra. Ball tapped forward, falls in the arms of Flynn. And he's wrapped up by Weistra. So another ball up here. Umpire Williams, experienced umpire, throws it up. Ball comes down now into a dangerous spot. Cansdell working hard again. Ball spills out. Was he grabbed high there? No, he's pinged holding the ball. There was no real prior there at all. Tea Tree Gully player frustrated there, as he should have been. I didn't think he had much chance, opportunity there. So Gaffney now swings the ball out wide to Dinoff. Dinoff now has got a loose player out wide here. Passanidi, little shove, but use the body well. So Passanidi goes forward now. Ball over the back. Working hard, there's Mackay. Shepherd picks it up, snaps Ball's running in. It's just going to bounce the wrong way to the right-hand side of the right goal post and through for a minor score. So quick transition, one end to the other from Port Districts. They go to 5 goals, 232. Tea Tree Gully 1 goal 2. So Tea Tree Gully now. What can they do? It's going to go long down the line here. In front, Sam Mackay. Ball punch forward. Passanidi. He's been busy, Passanidi, and they've paid a sling tackle there. Tea Tree Gully aren't happy here. Ball comes inboard now to Grieg. Doug Grieg. And I think there's been some lip going on here. Ryan Spittle's there. He's saying something to the umpire, but there's been a 25-metre penalty, and now there's going to be another 25. Richard Williams points over to the coach here, Moscotta, who was... So there'll be another 25 here. So that's 50 metres, and Doug Grieg is going to go to about 15 metres out directly in front, and Port Districts have their 6th. 6 goals 2. Things are unravelling here for Tea Tree Gully. They're 1 goal 2-8 as we approach about 5 minutes into this second quarter.
Well, as commentators, it's Nathan and I's job to call the game from neutralised, but I think most neutralised would be in agreement that, wow, the run of the green there was all favouring the home team, and probably too heavily at times, but it does show the penalty for talking out against the umps, unfortunately. The sport doesn't give a lot of leniency for conversation with the refs anymore, and the fans were up in arms about it, so that was a bit of a shocker there. It's a game-high 30-point margin now. Is it too much for Tea Tree Gully? Doug Gregg with the finish from a controversial piece of play. Ball comes back to the middle. Penny. They've got to wrestle one back here. Just settle the nerves a little bit. Forget about that last passage and focus on the next one. Umpire patient with the whistle. Penny with the tap out again. This time, the Wolves can get the clearance. Helicopter-like drop punt. Was looking a little horizontal there, and big collision too. Mitchell Gaffney taking the ball to ground with him after losing his balance. So slightly leaning towards the forward half for the Tea Tree Gully Wolves. Hand passed off the deck from Trent Heffernan. Found a teammate. There's a good smother. We've seen smothers go the other way, but not for the Tea Tree defenders. And there's finally going to be a free kick coming back here as well for Tea Tree Gully. Tyson Bredden goes long, sets it up. Coming in from the side was Alex Mackay, but he couldn't complete the grab. And, well, I reckon the sling motion on that tackle was similar to the one that was paid at the other end, so a bit of confusion there across those rules. Definitely something to ask or be questioned post-game, but in the meantime, Tom Gray clears it out. Snap is off his boot, and Blake Penny, what about that? The defensive fist, his defensive players keeping them in this game. But that's another really equally as great defensive effort from Lachlan Gregg. Fantastic intercept after losing his balance initially. So they exchange to the far side now. And just slowing up the play here now. Uncertain as to where to go next. Port decide to do a switch onto the opposite flank. So it's about manning up now. Thomas Schmush gets it to a vacant teammate, Tom Gray. They've got a really good spread here, Port. They can go long. Where's his brother Sam? He's a little deeper down, but he's coming in hot. Not hot enough, though. Teacher with the defensive setup. Sam Gray is coming in hot for a second effort, and a very, very valiant one. Now, he won't take his third set shot for goal from here, you'd think, but a player like that almost deserves one. In fact, he is reeling around slowly back on his arc, but oh, he stepped off. Now he's got to play on. He dodges around the man on the mark and decides to set it up to the tip of the square. No mark taken, but crumbing off and snapping all the way out wide. Harrison Hawkins couldn't finish together the class that was shown by Sam Gray there. Made the best of a bad situation, but it comes back out for the Tea Tree defenders.
The ball's out to Bredden. Bredden takes the mark around 50 metres out from the Port District's goal. So Tea Tree Gully desperately need a goal here. Brings the ball back. Now Gullies, what can they do? Through the middle, Luke Brown, former Crows player. Kick their only goal today, Brown. Beautiful kick, finds Asprey. So all pretty slow here though for Tea Tree Gully. Coach is calling for the ball to be moved on here. Asprey now looks inside but decides to go long down the line. Davison punches the ball with a big fly. Weestra's there. And there's going to be another sling tackle here. So it's going to be Ryan Spittle. He's been important today. He's been one of the shining lights. So Spittle looking to draw the player and handball the ball over to Spence. Spence now, long ball into a dangerous hot spot. Looks to be tackled without the ball there. A lot of players flying everywhere and the ball's going to be out of bounds. Right next to the behind post here. Tea Tree Gully looking to get their second goal. What can they do here? So 2 ruckmen. Friday up against Weestra. Large reserve, bathed in sunshine here. Conditions good. Big punch by Friday. Straight down to Carpeney. Carpeney gets the ball out. There's a race on out there. Hawkins throws the ball on the boot. Tom Gray now working hard. He collects. Swings onto the left boot. Looking for his brother Sam. Sam uses the body well. He's going to pick the ball up. Looking to swing back onto his right. Back onto the left. Centering ball looks pretty good to Shepherd. And Shepherd takes the mark in the goal square. So great movement. 2 great boys heavily involved. And now the ball's ended up with Shepherd, who's been dangerous up forward. So Shepherd strolls in, kicks Port District 7th. They go out to 7 goals to 44, leading Tea Tree Gully 1 goal to 8. We've played around 10 minutes in this second quarter.
Another score involvement for Sam Gray and another really clever piece of play. Didn't get front positioning over his opponent, but knew how to time his attack onto the ball and then sold a bit of foot candy and went with the centre up on his own. And it's just that type of skill set that very few in the Adelaide Footy League have. Takes us up to a game high 36-point margin. Gavin Shepherd with his first on the board now. And all of a sudden it's 7 goals 2 to 1 goals 2. 36 points might just be a little bit too much for this Tea Tree Gully team that needs to win today for their finals chances to be strengthened. But they won't gain any followers after today, although that kick out of the middle not so great from the on-ballers for Port. So the other Wolves with a chance to respond off of half-back from the scoreboard pocket. The scoreboard flank, we should say. It's a little further up than that. Plenty of spectators on the far side of the ground, and this is what good weather football allows us to have, is these spectators on the far side of the ground, not fearful of what's above them in the sky, just really intrigued by what's in front of them, and they can enjoy nice conditions and bathe out in the sun, as a lot of the players are doing right now. It's not a super warm day, mind you, but it's definitely a warm welcome after the torrential conditions that we've been accustomed to throughout June and July. Focus back on the play now. An early tackle. Caught with his hands in the cookie jar. They finally get a call for holding the ball. James Harley dashing through. The Wolves go forward. They had a couple of options at the front. Couldn't quite get any crumbing game going, but they keep the ball shy at the boundary line. Maybe they would have wanted to concede it over the boundary line in the end, because now it's going out Port's way. They wait to get some hand passing traffic. Carpeney almost caught with it. Just managed to get rid of it in time. With the 1-2, Carpeney goes again. With the wide kick is Dwyer. He needs the bounce to sit for him, and it doesn't. So now instead it will be Cody Tape. He dodges around one man. He's got some moves. He almost ran into a trap with Sam Gray though, and they almost ran into a second trap. They did. Bit off a little bit more than they could chew there. Gaffney to a teammate in Passanidi. Looks towards the pocket. Well-positioned kick. Might just end up with a call here for chop at the arms. It will be chop at the arms. This looks like Gavin Shepherd who will be taking the shot, although we'll take a second look. Only trying to judge by the shape of those tattoos. And yes, the Lux also match as well, so it will be Gavin Shepherd to line up for a second goal of the game and a second of the quarter.
I offered him my job.
And it'll be really difficult to come back from 7 goals down. Gavin Shepherd knows that. That's why he wasted no class on that kick. Routine stuff. He was unfazed. And they're 7 goals up. Port District's looking really cozy at home right now.
Nice kick from Shepherd. Never looked in doubt there. Little left to right. Straight through the middle. So Tea Tree Gully here. Desperate need of a goal. Need to get a bit of a run on here. This game will slip through the grasp of their hands pretty quickly. So it's already a big margin. 7 goals, 42 points here. Ball back in the middle. Williams, umpire Williams, throws it up. Penny's there, taps it down. Tape's there, he overruns it. Carpenter's soccer off the ground. Brown's there. Ball bounces now over to Cansdell. And that man Passanidi, who's been good today, takes the ball over the line. So the ball up, right in front of us here. Throw-ins, I should say. So Penny and McKay will go at it. McKay with the cat tap down. Nearly a throw. Niskahos now to Gaffney. Gaffney on the left, looking for Sam Gray. Maybe a little chop out there. Not much the defender could do. And once again, there's been some ill discipline. Some lips being said. And the umpire is going to bring Sam Gray to the right to the tip of the square here, to the goal line. And Sam Gray, he's going to line up for his 3rd goal. He waltzes in and kicks another one, so floodgates have opened a little bit here. Port Districts go out to 9-2. Tea Tree Gully 1-2. Gully boys just need to pull their heads in a little bit here. Some undiscipline has led to some 25-metre penalties and 8 goals the margin at the moment.
Three goals for Sam Gray, definitely one of the contenders for Archie Thongs and Dartfish Beanie, but remember that'll all be given in the shadows today, as we will not publicise our votes, neither at the end of this game or on between the posts. Meantime, Dwyer, some hand passing chains. They went back to go forward here, Port District. Harrison Hawkins, nice rolling chest mark. Slows play up, steps off towards the right to get some favour on that kick. Wasn't to the advantage of numbers. 1-2, Dwyer getting back involved. He's had some good assistant plays this game so far, but they don't get out of trouble here. Oh, advantage paid. The other Wolves can find something. No, they can't. The deepest option, and the ball wasn't hit properly anyway. Passanidi. Niskahos to the pocket. And look who it is again, once again with the ball in hand, having such a presence on this match and really making a statement as one of the trademark players for Port Districts is Sam Gray, looking for goal number 4. Checking the integrity of his laces as well as the length of his socks, and also checking the integrity of the Sharon while he's at it. But he'll need to be honest with his own skill set here, whether he can pull this one off. It starts to the left, it bends back, but not enough. Only a minor score for Sam Gray. But he's had so many score involvements one way or another in this match that he's been, in some ways, the least of their issues, and that alone is a huge issue on its own for Tea Tree Gully. But now coming from full back, what can they conjure up? Hit it to the hot spot. Surrounded by Port players. It's going to be difficult to bridge the traffic out of this one. Umpire kept the whistle in the pocket. Comes out wide. It was a 2-on-1. Cairnsville was never going to get to that ball, and it rolls over the boundary line here for a throw-in. 9 goals 355 to 1 goals 2-8. This is a very uncomfortable margin. Ball to be thrown back in. It's a bit of extra gleam from the sun starts to come over the field. Soccered out of the stoppage by Ryan Spittle. Picked up by a teammate, but he lost it. Too many tacklers to fight off. Advantage paid here as McKay goes forward and misses his intended target. So it will be a throw-in because it was just shy of a last touch rule there, but taking that kick was Samuel Mackay, who we haven't talked about too much. There's actually 3 Mackays on the ground and 2 of them for the same team, so no relation between the inter-team players, only for the brothers for the Wolves. Thrown back in. Penny had to shove off his men and couldn't even get a hand to it. That's holding the ball, and that'll be called to the favour of the Wolves. So now they've got an opportunity through Joshua Spence to find something. Still, they played a bit slow. The turnover game has plagued them a lot in this match so far, but Luke Brown with the ball in hand now. Experienced Crow veteran. What can he do? Playing from half-back, the position that he was made to be very familiar with in his time at the Adelaide Crows. He goes long, keeps it to the far-out wing. No mark taken, even as the pack emerged. And tackling pressure reinforced by Alex Dienhoff as well. It'll be a ball up on the far side. Tap towards the boundary line. Back into the forward 50 for Port District somehow. Tea-Tree's defenders misfired one hand pass and suddenly all almost became undone. But it'll instead be a stoppage. They lose a bit of territory, but they don't lose possession of the ball. That remains in neutral possession for the moment with the umpire as it comes back down to turf. Tackling numbers form once again. Soccered out of the stoppage, and, well, soccered to no one in particular. Except for the boundary line, that is. Playing it safe. Port kick to Matthew Wiestra. In the middle of the ground, Sean Davidson, the skipper, waiting on his own. Getting a little bit of an exchange period here through Doug Gregg. He's got a couple teammates shouting, but no one really making the appetising presence required to deserve that next conversion. Sangray waiting out Tom Gray actually that was, waiting out the back of the pack. Couldn't get it goal side. It bounced over to the boundary line anyway, and we got another stoppage.
So scoring's just ceased here for a bit, the last 5 minutes. Throw in about 50 metres out from the district's goal. Ball spills over the back and quickly wrapped up in a tackle there. It's a Tea-Tree Gully player in Riley Verrill. So throw up, Penny picks it over the back. Shepherd working hard on the ground. Looks like a high tackle there. Will be paid. So down the line go Tea-Tree Gully. In front's Big Friday. Gets his hands to it. Wiestra's there. Ball spills out to Robinson. Robinson over to Zach McKay. Leading out is the captain Davison. He's tackled. Ping for a throw. And we've got a man down in front of us here. It's Matthew Wiestra. He seems to be in a bit of trouble. Meanwhile, the ball gets him forward. Finding some space there is the Tea-Tree Gully player. Can't quite pick up who it is, but he's got the mark. 40 metres out from goal. And to say Tea-Tree Gully need this is an understatement. So finally, clean inside 50 here. Tea-Tree Gully have got the mark. So in comes, just can't quite pick it up. I think it might be Cairnsdale. Yes, William Cansdell looks good off the boot. Tea Tree Gully have got their second. Well done to Tea Tree Gully. They go to 2-2. Still trailing Port Districts 9-3. So important goal. Just to give them something. Give them some confidence here. So they'd love another one. Try and get back-to-back goals. So Weistra limped off. He looked okay. Looked in a bit of trouble there, but I think he may have just gone into the rooms, or he's just being attended to on the boundary line now. He's up on his feet, jogging, so not as bad as first thought. So ball back in the middle. Ferns and Penny. Penny grabs it out of the ruck as he's done a few times. Nitska Hoss handballs. Now Gully's get the ball. Little's working hard. Intensity's lifted here a little bit. This is what Gullies need. Umpire's looking here. He's going to throw it up. So it's all Penny. Could have grabbed that one out of the middle as he's done so. Ball spills out to Zach Mackay. Goes in forward, a one-on-one, a bit of holding. Great mark. He hasn't been paid the mark. Unlucky not to be paid the mark there, so the ball goes out wide now. Tea Tree Gully have the numbers. Cansdell, he's just sat it up on his head. Zach Mackay flies. Robinson there, Wilson there. Ball comes out now to Passanidi. Passanidi's going to turn it over though, straight back into the hands of Jack Asprey. He goes in forward to Cansdell. He's playing a good game. Out to the ruckman Penny. Tea Tree Gully just having a good few periods here. Good moments. So Penny just slows it up though. Plays on. Brown. Nice kick. Back out wide here to Asprey. Asprey chips in forward. Cansdell again. He's been busy. Cansdell now swings it. Port Districts have got plenty of numbers behind the ball here. So there's been a bit of slow build-up. Ball out wide there. Port Districts look to be held without it. Oh, great tackle there. He's gone, holding the ball. Port Districts away now through Tommy Gray. He bounces the ball and couldn't collect it. So Brown's over there now. He's got the ball. Brown to Penny. Penny now. Out wide. Alex McKay. What can he do from the boundary? Centres it. Davison's there. Flies with Friday. Over the back here. Peter Personos back onto the left foot. Kicked another goal. Back-to-back goals to Tea Tree Gully here. 3 goals to Tea Tree Gully. 20. Trailing Port Districts 9-3-55. So 2 in a row for Tea Tree Gully. Well done to them.
They had to work for it, but eventually consecutive goals finally arrives for Tea Tree Gully. Peter Personos, the finisher in this instance. Not much time left in this first half of footy. 9 goals, 355. 3 goals, 220. Ball back into the middle. Is there another instant reply waiting for one of these teams? Sam Gray was well wrestled there, something that we talked about they needed to address. That's a short kick. I reckon that's just gone the required 15. But now out to Wilson, into the corridor, weaving together through some hand passes, trying to be creative. Back to Luke Brown, who dashes through and launches all the way to the line. Oh, it was almost juggled for a mark. It won't be paid. Goodness gracious. I reckon a different view. In fact, it's actually been called for a minor score, so it must have been juggled fully over the line beforehand. Wow, that's almost a bit of a letdown. That could have been a huge play there. So Port Districts escape. Alex Steenhoff. Just a moment to take a breath after all that excitement. Try to get a bit of an exchange period going on. The ball actually hit the ground, but the umpire didn't seem to notice. So they get a bit of a switch. Go out to the far side. And the siren beats all, as after a couple of late goals from Tea Tree Gully, they may just have enough belief to overcome a 35-point deficit it would have to be one of the biggest comebacks of the year, but what can they put together from a mental and physical perspective during the halftime break? Well, right now the commentators will be focusing on doing the same to bring you the best possible coverage. You're watching round 15 action for the Adelaide Footy League live stream from Largs Bay Oval. 9 goals 355 to 3 goals 220. It's a 35-point game. We'll take a break and be back with you in the second half to give you an update on all the action. Welcome back to round 15 of the Adelaide Footy League. We're at Largs Bay Oval, and right now the intensity probably isn't as suggestive as what the scoreboard would say. Of course, it's a 34-point game on the scoreboard and not necessarily one for the faint of heart, but at the same time I can definitely say this right now. In fact, if it's 9-3, this is interesting. Looking at the scoreboard, Nathan, it says 9-3, but it's 55 points. Now, 9 goals is 54 points, which means it should be 57 points to 21. So I really hope, if the game is determined in Tea Tree's favour, that isn't going to be something that they look at and accidentally get wrong, because it would give a false sense of hope for the fans as well. So it's actually a 36-point game for those who are wondering. But the scoreboard here, incorrect as it stands at the moment, unless they've added too many behinds, which they haven't. So it is a 36-point game, not a 34-point game like the scoreboard suggests. But nonetheless, we talk about some of the best players from that first half, and Sam Gray was a big standout. But, well, Nathan, what do you think is going to determine, is 36 points too much in your opinion, and what would be the solution to really control the pace of the game from there?
Yeah, well, Tea Tree Gully, I think their intensity lifted that last 5 or so minutes. Kicked 2 in a row, had a chance to kick 3 in a row if Luke Browns had gone through, but just didn't quite make the distance. So Tea Tree Gully, they show they can score quickly, so I think they'd have to be within a couple of goals. So a really important quarter, this one now. If they can win this quarter, get within a couple of goals, I think the wind is favouring the right a little bit. It is across the ground, but a little bit towards the right. So not quite out of it. Those last 2 goals gave them some hope. So let's hope that Tea Tree Gully can get the first one here and put a bit of pressure back on Port District. So Spittle's been good for them. William Cansell, another player that's played well so far. And the big ruckman, he's worked hard. Blake Penny. And some other good players for Port Districts. I think Niska Hoskers has played quite good. Obviously, Indy mentioned Sam Gray. The Gaffney boys have been pretty solid as well. And Passaniti's had some good moments on the wing, as has Tommy Gray's been quite good. And Trent Heffernan was another one that's played well. So all set here for the third quarter now. Largs reserve. Umpire holds the ball aloft to start the third quarter. It's going to be Penny and Ferns again. They go at it. Penny gets his hands on it. Straight down to Cansdell. He gives the ball off to Luke Brown. Luke Brown, hurried kick. Punched by Friday. He was just caught behind. Ball picked up there now by Heffernan. Comes out wide to Gaffney. Cooper, that is. Ferns. Good kick from Gaffney. Finds Ferns. Ferns now on the lead. Shepherd. He's presented well. Takes a good grab. He's got Passaniti running past, but he's going to go inboard to Ferns again. Gullies now have a chance. The kicking in danger paid, but the advantage paid. So Brown just pumps it in long to a 1-on-1. 5-on-2 back here though. So Wiestra working hard here. Well done by the Gullies. He's caught one high there. And there's a yellow card being given here. So Peter Personos had his head over the ball. Schmush came in. And Schmush is going to have a 10-minute spell here with a yellow card given. So great effort by Personos. They were outnumbered there, Tea Tree Gully. So he's on his left. He's going to pump it in long. Right to the goal square. Getting his hands there to it was Mitchell Gaffney, but he couldn't take the mark and the ball spills over the back for a minor score. So Tea Tree Gully pressing for 3 in a row here. It's going to be Davison, the skipper. Pumps it in. And Jordan Personos is there. Jordan Personos kills that one out of bounds. So there'll be a throw in. Around 50 metres from Tea Tree Gully's goal. A lot of players around the ball. Penny will go up against Sam Mackay this time. Heffernan's there. He gets a quick handball to Gaffney on his right this time. Cooper Gaffney goes forward. Being held on there to the jumper was Tyler Martin. Jumper pulled there. So what can Martin do? He's going to pump it in again. So hoping for a grab. Penny's there, flying in from the side there. Mitch Hawkins gets the ball. Oh, sorry, Mitch Gaffney it was. Well done, Carpeney. Nice left foot kick to Shepherd. Shepherd now has the running player there who's kicked it straight out of bounds. So Dinoff and Tea Tree Gully now through Cansdell. He punches it in. A nice kick there. Robinson handballs over to Luke Brown. Luke Brown out the front there. Ball beats, I think it's Brodie Latham over the line, and there'll be another throw in. So Tea Tree Gully doing a bit of attacking here. Just need to capitalise on these forward 50 entries.
Scoreboard still says 9 goals, 355. It should say 9 goals, 357. So that would make it a 35-point game for those watching from home, or wherever you're watching, of course. High throw up, and a really nice one against the wind, actually, from the umpire there. Bit of a slingy tackle, but nothing thought of it by the umpire. So I wonder if the goal umpires are keeping track of the more legitimate scoreboard. In the meantime, Niskahus into the middle. Tom Gray, his defender spoiled him well. Defensively, they're judging the ball a lot better in this quarter, but it's turnovers like that which make it go the other way. Was Tom Gray caught? Did he drag it back in? The umpire let play resume, and now it looks like they might be able to break through Carpeney. He hands to a teammate. It's Ferns. He'll go himself, Ferns, because he's got nothing in front of him except the big sticks. 41-point margin it is, 10 goals, 3. I reckon the people over there at the scoreboard would still be having to figure out how this is going to get done. Well, they've got a 60. It's got to be a 63. No, it's a 61. So a bit of a puzzle over there for the people working on the scoreboard. So hopefully you're listening to our coverage, because we'll provide you with the legitimate scoreboard.
Thanks, Indy. Yes. Still a couple of points behind there on that scoreboard, but Tea Tree Gully, all the attacking early, just seemed to bomb the ball in though. They just were hoping for a bit of luck, and Port Districts have made them pay there with their first inside 50. So ball back in the middle. Socket off the ground there, in danger against Cooper Gaffney. So it's going to be Spittle out of the middle. Been a good player for him. A one-on-one there. Tape. Ball spills out now to Bredden. He pumps it in forward. Spoiled by Niskahos. Follows up. Now it's Jake Robinson. Gives a handball in board. Just can't pick it up there. Tea Tree Gully player. Now back to Little. He overruns it. Alex McKay's there. He gets a hurried handball out. Cooper Gaffney now picks the ball up on his left. Gould out there with Napa. Ball's kicked out to the wing now. So Tea Tree Gully, Josh Flynn leads in the race there, and he takes the ball out of bounds on the outer wing. So there'll be a throw in. All important first goal to Port District. So Tea Tree Gully desperately need one back here. McKay and Penny. Mackay. So Penny taps it forward. It's going to be another stoppage here and ball up. So important next few minutes here. Penny again. Carpeney misses it. Hurried handball. Good little tap on there. Couldn't find Cansdell though. So now going after Zach Mackay. Well done by Dinoff. He gives the ball to Weistra. Weistra out to Cooper Gaffney. Cooper Gaffney spearing ball into Heffernan. Heffernan now swings on into the middle to Niskahos. Niskahos one way and goes the other. Onto the right foot to the running skipper Davison. Davison now, he's going to go short and find Passaniti. Shepherd offers a lead. Is he going to go back in board or down the line? Unsure what to do. Now he's going to chip it in. Not 15, calls the umpire. Doug Grieg. Now he's going to kick it straight down the throat of Luke Brown. So some good defending there by Tea Tree Gully. So Luke Brown looking around. He's just going to go along down the line. It's all Port District's back here. Sam Mackay takes the mark. So Sam Mackay now, he's going to look to switch him board. And he does so. Finds Mitch Gaffney to his brother Cooper Gaffney. And that one's over the head of Sam Gray, and a good mark. 1-on-1 there. Taken by the Gully's player. Couldn't quite pick him up. The ball comes out wide to Bredden. Good mark. Just a bit slow with some of their movement at times here, Gullies. Now they go back in board. What can they get going? A switch here. Martin. Now back into the middle to Luke Brown. Now Brown puts the foot down. Long ball. Looks a good kick as well. Chop the arms, you would have thought there. Ryan Spittle. And now the ball has come over to Gould. Gould handballs now to the 50. And a hurried kick. Beats Sam Gray. That'll be a last touch now. So Tea Tree Gully, what can they do? Ball's brought into Flynn. Josh Flynn, handballs on. They need to get some run going. Brown's trying to provide that. He bangs it in through the middle. Friday comes across and punches the ball well. Spittle's there. Gets a bad bounce. Cooper Gaffney, he's been good. Mopping up well to Davison. Davison out wide now. Finds Gould. Gould short kick to Carpeney. So Port District's just slowing things down now. Been a bit of ball between the arcs. Penny's got it now. He kicks the ball to Spittle. Goes over his head. Grieg out to Dinoff. Dinoff has a fumble. Back to Grieg. Grieg to Dinoff. Waxing it here to Wiestra. Wiestra now turns and comes down the wing. Good spoil by Luke Brown. He's trying to lift his side. Hawkins. Ball out to Gould. Back to Gould. Gould on the left. A little shove before he kicks it. And ball out of bounds, last touch. So a bit of scrappy play here. Just the one goal scored in this third quarter at the moment.
Slowing down the pace of the game isn't necessarily going to be the solution to winning it, unfortunately, with how large that scoreboard deficit is. But credit to the people managing the scoreboard. They have corrected it, of course, to the 10 goals 363 that Port District sit on. Potential turnover looming in the middle here as Alex Mackay tried to put his body on the line, went in for a hand pass, couldn't get it out to the intended target. Harrison Hawkins kicks it forward, but Tea Tree got the setup. They're coming under pressure though quickly. Carpeney, Niskahos, and then taking a ping out wide. James Batty is going to miss everything. No, it'll actually sneak in for a minor score. So 42 points, a direct 7-goal margin it is. They try to get a quick switch here through Zat Mackay. Hasn't been quite as good as his brother today. Juggling it through the middle. Zat Penny again. Going forward. 1-on-1. Almost a bit of holding there, but nothing thought of it. Latham couldn't fight off the impending defenders, but a turnover here forced through Tea Tree Gully's pressure might just be enough for something. Persinos, Peter Persinos centres it, but he went too high, and having all the read of that ball was Sean Davidson. Credit to him as the skipper. He doesn't get too much of the ball, but it's moments like that where he reads it with a lot of superiority. So from the back pocket now,
talk to someone.
what can they muster? Coming out through, Penny. Zat Mackay. Initial kick was smothered and it's come out wide again. So just settling into the midway point of this third term and wondering if slowing down the pace is the right solution. Is it trying to avoid the scoreboard deficit? Because like we said, Tea Tree can still finish today in 5th position even if they do lose the game. It's just a question of if they can retain a strong enough percentage to keep Brighton and Broadview at bay, of course, We're not going to update you with the results of those games. You'll have to watch them yourselves, which you can do because they're all being live streamed, as is every Adelaide Footy League game. In the meantime, Harrison Hawkins, who's pushed up the ground, gets it to a teammate. They wanted to use the corridor. Tell you what, Shepherd really took his time trying to get that kick off. Now it's coming to the middle of the ground, piling in a lot of Tea Tree Gully defenders, but it won't be enough to win back possession. It'll be a ball up. So game grinding to a halt. Smoke still coming from the chimney in the background, but no smoke smelling of a fire in this game just yet. Shepherd decided to run past, wanted Tom Gray to do the hard, dirty work. And maybe he got a bit too far ahead. It didn't bother manning up on Luke Brown, which you got to do because he's a good kick. In this case, he does a kick to the advantage of numbers, but the ball keeps moving forward. And they almost read together with teammates, but William Cairnsell just couldn't quite grab the hand pass. He didn't get the best receive. Now it comes out wide. Taking the mark out wide, Zach Mackay. Under pressure, but not out of it. Dylan Wilson. Kick towards centre half forward. Ricochets off of a target. And it might just come out once again from centre half back, Port District. They can't find themselves out of trouble here, so more boomerang-like football to ensue. Great pick up there from Cairnsell. He goes deep down, and what a jump that was. One of the best timed jumps of the day for a very nice forward mark. Tea Tree Gully finally, after a long wait, with another set shot opportunity, and this time it will be through Brodie Latham. Brodie Latham stepping in and stepping up. Only one step on a large mountain, but it's definitely better than nothing, that's for sure.
So finally a mark inside forward 50 for Tea Tree Gully. Struggled a bit in that area today. Haven't had a real big target there that showed a presence. Just seemed to be bombing the ball in a lot. Friday's down there now, but great one-on-one contested mark there by Brodie Latham and finished with a goal. So some good work in the middle from Cairnsell as well, set that up. So back in the middle, Ferns, Penny gets his hands on it. Kicked off the ground by Carpenter. He's going back and taking a strong mark there. I thought that was going to fall over the top to Batty, who was on the lead. But Tea Tree Gully chipped in and a good intercept mark. He's going to dangerous kick into the middle. They need to do this though, Gullies. Try and take the game on to kick some goals. But a stray handball ends up with Heffernan on the wing. Heffernan goes forward, looking for Tom Gray. He picks it up. Bad handball to Heffernan, but Heffernan's good enough to pick it up. Swings it in, kicks the left foot grubber straight to Tea Tree Gully. Luke Brown, he's been good in this quarter. Kicks Tyler Martin. No, Luke Brown it is now. He's got the ball. Cairnsell gets it. He's been good. He's ducked into trouble though. And now, all on his loan is his Ferns. Opposition ruckman not to be seen. He just chips the ball over. Draw the player in Personos. Ball falls into the hands of Shepherd and he runs into an open goal. So a turnover, costly turnover in the middle there. A couple of opportunities for Tea Tree Gully and a stray handball, and then a handball put Dylan Wilson under pressure there as well. And Port District's good enough to counter-attack and get a goal back. So that eliminates Latham's goal and Port Districts go back out 11-4 to the visitors, 4 goals for Tea Tree Gully.
And not that we're doing AFL commentating, but for those curious, the Essendon Bombers just got over the line by 1 point against West Coast in an almighty scare. Adelaide and Gold Coast still currently playing out the final quarter of their game. And in front of us, the third quarter of this game, once again, Port District respond to a little bit of a change of momentum. That means very little on the scoreboard now, although they won't play advantage to this kick. Kenneth Carpenter will have to take it back. He's been very good today, Carpenter. He's one of the better disposals on the team. Niskahos. Liam Ferns. Just a gradual build up to this next play. Kicks out wide. Tried to hit the hot spot of the forward line. Dwyer's kick was smothered. Cooper Gaffney tried to have a go at it, but that was also smothered. Now Teatree, desperate to try and get out of trouble. It's one-on-one. Great defensive effort there. That was absolutely superb stuff from Lachlan Gregg. And now he's hit a target. You can tell that the bench with their applause was excited about that effort. Oh, that was almost a bit of a dangerous tackle. It was. In fact, it wasn't called by the initial umpire. There's an umpire behind. The one with the cap, he's the one who's been accused of making some of the more controversial decisions today. Well, he's called it a dangerous tackle. The umpire on ball didn't think so. There's going to be a yellow card for a Port Districts player anyway. So it's actually gone against Port Districts. It's a little confusing. Luke Brown wants to get a switch. Kicks out into the sun. Oh, dangerous. He tried to get it back to Luke Brown. Kick didn't come off the boot properly. Now he's gone straight into the corridor where William Canstall can do nothing but wrap it up. And, well, it's better than a turnover, but it's not going to let them advance too far. Ball up in the centre square again. And hack kick off the deck has gone nowhere, but into the hands of a Port Districts defender. Benjamin Gould. Goes out wide, finds Sean Davidson, who's pushed up the ground for a change. Hits Cooper Gaffney. For extra reference, he kicks it over the top to a teammate as well. And he goes a little deeper. Initially it looked like he wanted Shepherd, but he didn't need him in the end. Now trying to get a good look at who this is, because I reckon it might be Sam Gray again. I reckon that silhouette, Nathan and I are both in agreement. So he's lining up for goal number 4 if he can get it, although this one a little bit more of a difficult journey. So they've played him up forward a bit more today, Sam Gray, and we know that sometimes he can pitch hit on ball. But they've probably enjoyed resting him up forward today, and it might even be strategical to prepare him for the finals. But he'll need better kicking action than that for the finals, that's for sure. He's just missed that one to the near side by the looks.
So 7 goals, 1 the difference here. Teatree Gully, what can they do? Luke Brown's been good this quarter, as has Canstall. Those two are willing their side back into this. So Teatree Gully deep in the back pocket. Ball comes down the line here. Friday's there. Through his hands. Be disappointed with that. Hurried kick. Dwyer. Josh Spence. Kick to Ryan Spittle in the middle, but he's wrapped up. So there'll be a ball up. The cricket wickets there. Sam Mackay goes at it. Canstall, he's been important this quarter. He pumps it in long door, 1-on-1. Latham's there again. Ball spills over the back to Personos. He's tackled well by Lockie Greig. Ball back over here. Early leap there. The ball falls over the back to Mitchell Gaffney. Gaffney to Niskahos. Niskahos down the line, looking for Tommy Gray. He's in a battle there with Josh Spence, and Spence taps that out of bounds. There'll be a throw in here, so low scoring quarter so far, just the 1 goal each. Or 2, sorry, to Port Districts, 1 to Teatree Gully. So a throw in, about 60 metres out from Port District's goal. Penny grabs it out the ruck, tackled by Mackay. Heffernan, a good handball, he's played well. Niskahos also has been busy. Ball goes in forward on top of Tommy Gray's head, and Spence once again knocks that one out of bounds. The Tea Tree Gully in desperate need of a goal. They want to get 2 or 3 quick ones before the break to give themselves any hope. A lot of players around the ball. Penny hacks that forward. Friday's there. Ball falls over the back to Dwyer. Dwyer to Cooper Gaffney. Beautiful spearing kick to Smush. Smush out the front in Batty. Batty picks up. Handballs now to Dinoff. He has a ping at goal. It's coming back. And it's swung back in for a goal. Alex Dinoff. Bit of right to left, as we know the breeze has done that all day. Across the ground, and Dinoff kicks another goal to Port District. So they go 12 goals 5 to Tea Tree Gully 4 goals 4. So 8 goal lead. It's going to make it really hard now for Tea Tree Gully.
Well, they've lost 3 games in a row going into this match we talked about before the game, and Port Districts look very likely to end that losing streak now. And an important time of the year, 49 points is the margin, and I reckon that would be too much. Only a miracle on grass style type of comeback could save them now. Something very unreliable to predict on a football field. They go forward again, although a choppy kick from Kenneth Carpenter will only go out wide. Although a bit of confusion with the defenders. That might cause something to still happen if they can keep it through and alive on the line. Batty lets it rip. Batty with a snapping goal. Even things as simple as just a simple pick-up of the ball is made to be punished when not done with extra precision in this game. And now it's a 55-point margin. What a goal from James Batty that was. And we're enjoying the conditions of this game as well. They've continued to be really consistent throughout this afternoon. Partly cloudy, but a decent amount of sun. Spectators enjoying sun on the other side as well. Kids out on the playground, and well, we're getting a bit of taste of hopefully the type of weather we might get in September, plus something a little bit warmer, but this is what it's about. Getting involved in the ruck that time, so Adrian Friday pitching in while Penny's off. And the ball up in the centre circle. So how much will the ladder change today? We'll know once it's all over. But still a lot more football being played throughout this afternoon. Look at the hands there. Cansdall, who's probably been the best player for Tea Tree Gully today, has William Cansdall. He can hold his head high knowing that he's done his part. Going forward and taking the mark in contested conditions at front position. It's a very nice one. I reckon that must be Jake Robinson. No, it's Blake Penny. So he actually was on the ground. We talked about Friday was pitching in, and we were wondering, well, was Penny taking a rest? No, they were resting him forward. They need that big presence up forward now, and it might just work. From a marking perspective it has, but does he have the kick of a forward? Ooh, it's a weird spinning ball. Oh, and it's made the journey. It's almost a mongrel goal, if you don't mind. Probably the quickest turnaround to a reply in this game for Tea Tree Gully, excluding those consecutive goals at the end of the second term. And a very nice finish from Blake Penny. It's no secret why he's one of the best for Tea Tree Gully this year.
Yeah, they'd certainly like 2 of Blake Penny's out there. One in the ruck and one they could rest up forward. So he's a big target up there. They've lacked a target up there today, Tea Tree Gully. So a good move here, I reckon, to get Penny up forward, try and clunk a few marks. So Friday's in the ruck now against Ferns. Ball comes out to Spittle. He handballs the ball over there. I think it's Zach Mackay. Zach Mackay now. He's given the ball out here. I think it might be Robinson. Pumps it in long. Penny's the target again, and he's got it again. Big Penny gone forward, taking 2 big marks. So could this be the change that Tea Tree Gully need with the big fella up forward? On the siren, three-quarter time siren's blown, so Blake Penny to have a shot after the siren here. What can the big fella do here? 2 quick goals here, could be very handy. Give them a glimmer of hope. So in comes Penny. Looks pretty good off the boot. He likes it. 2 in a row for the Gullies. Blake Penny gone forward, and he's gone bang bang. So three-quarter time score here now. Port District's 13 goals 5, 83 to the visitors Tea Tree Gullies. We just wait for the scoreboard to tick over. Looks 6 goals 4, 40. We'll take a break now at three-quarter time and be back with all the last quarter action.
Welcome back to Largs Bay Oval. It's been an interesting match and a 43-point match at three-quarter time. 13 goals 5 to 6 goals 4, although I will admit I'm starting to wonder why they didn't make the move for Blake Penny to play in the ruck a little earlier in the match. It's clear that he's such a big presence, and he kicked 2 goals in the last minute of the third quarter. Pretty crazy stuff, and you think, well, if they had that at the beginning of the game, it could have made a big difference in momentum. Of course, you could see Nathan Woods is just out there trying to get a listen into the Tea Tree Gully three-quarter time huddle, and we'll see what the message is, because like we said, only an Ash McGrath style miracle on grass type of game could save Tea Tree Gully at the moment, but it might just be what they need to keep their season in touch with the rest of the finals, because remember, Broadview and Brighton are closing in on them, and even if they don't win this match, Tea Tree Gully, they can still keep a lot of their percentage by narrowing down the margin, because right now they've conceded twice as many points as their opposition, plus some more. if they can narrow down that margin just a little bit more, you wonder, will that be enough to negate the percentage disadvantage? Because again, it's Broadview against Glenunga and it's Brighton against Sacred Heart. Those are some really difficult matches, and they would both be upsets. They both require upsets, and an upset hasn't happened today, but even if those teams do win the game, it will obviously put them at a disadvantage and missed opportunity, but they can't give up. There's still another 3 weeks to go after this, so there's a lot of important matches to come up, this being one of them, but it won't be the last opportunity or the last say for football that Tea Tree Gully has. So big last quarter coming up, you'd hope, but also Port Districts themselves anxious to end a 3-game losing streak and look like their normal selves again after that last win they had was against Old Iggy's. They've looked so much better coming out of that match from the 3-game losing streak that they'd just been subjected to the past month. The interest now will also boil around who the best on ground is, but Nathan and I will keep that discreet and will not publicly announce that on air. So we'll keep the wrap up of the game pretty short, sharp and shiny, but the quarter is everything but that. We could be in for a long and interesting one, or one to expectation. Who knows? Penny starting back in the ruck again. Maybe they didn't want to overuse that experiment with him up forward. Great tackle there from Harry Dwyer. That's the exact type of grip you want. On the shoulder, lock the arm towards the waist, but very fair and very strong. Penny again got the second bite in that run contest, but it didn't go to the intended man. Samuel Mackay. Awkward kick spinning forward. Here's Sam Gray, still looming for that 4th goal. He doesn't pick it up. Gavin Shepherd lost it. Tea Tree Gully can bounce back off of half-back, but they're not going to waste too much time here. It needed to be given back to the initial recipient of the free kick first. Joshua Flynn, who we haven't called too much of today, kicks it out to Mitch Napper. He was a late inclusion throughout the week. Brown. Players pushing up the ground. Penny pushing up the ground, as you can see. Kicks out to the side. William Cansdall. Tyson Bredden. Oh, and that's a shank kick off the side of the boot. That won't do them any good. Here's Thomas Schmush, who had to sit out 10 minutes from a yellow card in the 3rd quarter. Sean Davidson kicks back into the middle of the ground. He finds Matthew Wiestra, and the build-up ends with a set shot, which will likely be taken from Tom Gray. He hasn't had too much scoreboard impact today. Definitely not as much as his brother, but, well, normally he'd be playing as the deep option forward and his brother would be on ball, although I reckon today Tom Gray's pushed up more of the ground and Sam has been playing a little bit deeper. Doesn't matter what type of day you have, it can still be your moment. He'll take the kick from within the arc, lets it rip. Missed to the near side, although it's been thumped back into play. And it'll just tumble over the boundary line for another throw-in.
So the ball, about 20 metres out, will be a throw-in. Out of side, Port District's forward line, shove out to Shepherd. Tom Gray's there, spinning left, then right. Gives the ball to Cooper Gaffney, him on his right side, kicks the ball in to the hot spot, and running onto the ball there is the wingman Daniel Passaniti. So a great centering kick there from Gaffney on his wrong side, and this will hurt. The first goal here, important. So Passaniti had a pretty good first half, comes in about 25 out. Umpire moves a little bit, but not enough. He's put it through, so Port Districts go on their merry way. They go to 14 goals now. 14 goals, 5, 89. Leading Tea Tree Gully 6-4, 40. 49 points the margin here at Largs Reserve. And Gullies really would have liked that first goal, but not to be. Coach at the 3-quarter time huddle, Moscotta, disappointed with scores from turnovers. Just wanted the boys to fix up a few fundamentals. So Cansdall now played a real good game. Gould picks the ball up in the middle onto his left foot. Ferns again's got out by himself. He plays on, tries to get around attacker. Spence gets a handball out now. Harry Dwyer, he's got a loose player here. Gaffney, now Gaffney's just going to chip it in short. Doesn't find Tom Gray though, and now they've turned it over here. Maybe trying to be a little bit too cute then. But now Tea Tree Gully are going to be pinged holding the ball. So a bit stiff there. Looks like Mitch Napper was on the bottom of the pack there, and Cooper Gaffney now. Where is that? Gone forward. He's been lively all day. He's been one of their better players. So in goes Gaffney. He's just pushed that across the face of goal, through for a minor score. So 14 goals, 690. 50 points the margin here. Sting's gone out of this game a little bit here. A bit of a lull. What can Tea Tree Gully do? Percentage important for that 5th spot at the moment. So they won't want to get blown out of the water. They hold on to 5th by percentage. Ball comes out to Dwyer. Dwyer with a hurried kick, which will go out of bounds, and it'll be Spence by the looks of it over there. Joshua Spence to bring the ball back in. So Port Districts set up well behind the ball here, making it hard for Gullies to get it out of the forward 50 of Port Districts. So Spence goes long down the line. McKay's up there. Heffernan picks the ball up. Good take, but tackled quickly. Ball spills out here. Now a chance for Spittle. Oh, he just left the ball behind. Carpeney swings onto that nice left foot of his. Passanidi gets a bad bounce. Picked up there by Bredden. He goes to Cansdell. Heffernan wraps him up, but strength from Cansdell. Back to Bredden. Bredden's tackled. Carpeney now. Sam Gray. Well done there. Kept his feet. It was Asprey. Goes forward here. And Robinson will be wrapped up in a tackle. Niskahos just grabbing his ankle there. He's in a bit of trouble, I think. Jason Niskahos. Limping, I think a lower leg, maybe an ankle or something there. Just got caught underneath. Tea Tree Gully, I think there's no one on the bench for them, listening to their 3/4 time huddle. No rotations. So they've got to tough it out here. So Cansdell now. Through the middle, Napper. It's kicked it straight to Dinoff. Dinoff out wide. Gould takes a good mark and plays on. Overcommitted the Gullies player. Spittle gets his hands to it. In front, Napper. Port District's player grabs it. Back to Gould. Now Passanidi. Napper working hard. Heffernan. Handballs to Passanidi, and the ball out of bounds on the outer wing. So 50 points the margin here.
Not too much more of a game to be played out, but mostly Port Districts by how much? Many late contenders for the beanie and thongs is always welcome as well. Here's a bit of dash though. One that's been a little bit absent throughout the game. What about that? That was a one-handed juggler. So Tea Tree in the blink of an eye probably get their fastest play of the game done then and there. Can it result in a goal for Tyler Martin? He's been anxiously waiting for one. As the dog goes off in the background, our focus remains on what's in front of us. The set shot, the easy part of what he's doing, and yet the part which he just gets through. He made it look like the difficult part. But a goal it is. And at this point it's just trying to narrow down the percentage damage and forget about this afternoon and think about the next 3 weeks, which will be so pivotal for their finals chances. But clearly there is a bit of daylight between 4th and 5th position after today, you reckon. So there'll be quite a bit to address in the coming weeks for Tea Tree as well as Broadview and Brighton. Give you updates on those results once we have an idea of what they'll be. But the sun starts to set on the results of this afternoon. You can see it just fading in the background. Luke Brown out of the middle, helicopter drop punt, almost managed to get onto the end of Persinos. Semi kicked off the deck and then finished with a lot of class there from Brody Latham. So consecutive goals once again in this match for Tea Tree Gully. An uncommon sight through most of this game, but it has occurred before. 14 goals 6 to 8 goals 4. So they're just hanging in there for, once again, a little bit of scoreboard compensation, and this will be good for their percentage. So small wins at this point are the only thing they can still get out of these final minutes, but there's small wins that can actually mean quite a bit in the long term at this next month. August is really going to crank up in intensity, you feel. Tapped out. Once again, leaning towards Tea Tree's forward half. Mitch Napper the one to clear it. Mark juggled. They could get 3 in a row here if they're careful with their ball movement, and that's really brilliant siding. Very clever kick towards the centre of the forward arc. The payoff will be a third consecutive goal if what looks like James Harley from a distance, but don't quote me on that. To bring the margin back down to 32 points after it was a game high 50 not too long ago, but that's a mongrel kick. It made the journey, but it came through a set of hands from the pack that formed on the line.
So some good fight being shown here by Tea Tree Gully. Last 2 goals of the game, all out wide here. Alex Dynoff takes the mark. Front of the tennis courts. Past Players Day here, or Sponsors Day here, so big day out here at Largs Reserve. Ball comes right in front of us here. Shepherd flies high. Ferns, who's played a good game, handball over. Spittle gets the ball. He gives a handball across here to Luke Brown, sells some candy, pumps it up forward. On the lead, Latham bounces over him. Handball comes out now though to Cody Tape. Tape has a shot on goal and he's got another one. 3 in a row for the Gullies. Cody Tape, ball spilled out, some good ball movement. Spittle, Cansdell, they've been really important players. Luke Brown has had a good second half as well. And the margin now back 31 points. So Tea Tree Gully, as we said, not much on the bench for them, so they're fighting hard here. As we said, percentage important for this 5th spot. So these goals all important. Up goes Penny and Mackay. Carpeney, followed by trailed up by Cansdell. Gould, he's been good the last 10 minutes. Heffernan, quick hands. Smush. Smush now comes out wide. 1-on-1 here. Hassanidi tackled. Tate, who kicked that last goal. Dwyer, good tackle. Gullies have lifted. Tommy Gray, Penny's got him. Looked like a throw nearly. Now ball spills out here. I think it's Hawkins has kicked the goal. Harrison Hawkins, bit unlucky there to be paid a free kick, Gullies, and Harrison Hawkins, the ball bounced fortuitously, picked the ball up and kicked a goal against the Tide. So Port Districts get one back. But Tea Tree Gully having a real dip in this last quarter. Coach asked for the boys to lift, and they have. So margin back out to 37 points. See if Tea Tree Gully can get another one back here. It's going to be Penny and Mackay again. Cansdell in the middle there on Heffernan. Penny picks it out of the ruck as he does a lot. Heffernan does well. He balks around, gives it to Hawkins who kicked the last goal. pumps it in long to a one-on-one. It's going to go over the back. Gray wrestling hard there with Asprey. And while those two tangled up, the ball has gone over the top. So Harrison Hawkins kicks 2 goals in a minute. And those 2 goals that Gully's kicked have been counteracted. 2 quick goals back to Hawkins. So Port Districts back out to a 7-goal lead. Now there's a yellow card being picked out here as well. I think Sam Gray's just been given a yellow card. He's not happy, saying that one of the other guys has said something, but unlucky, Sam Gray's going to have to come off for a 10-minute spell.
Take your head off, mate.
Well, he's had a very good game, Sam Gray. Lots of score involvements, 3 goals, but that one just not being his moment. Just a little bit of a low note to end on for his personal individual performance, but he'll come to the bench now, and we'll probably see him next week. I doubt that we'll have another 10 minutes to play out in this quarter. Meanwhile, Penny, large kick. The intended target lost his balance. Martin trying to get involved down there, going in for a second effort. Doug Gregg doing a really good job. And a ball up. Ball thrown back up. Oh, almost a little bit of a high shrug, but nothing thought of it. And fair call from the umpire there. Oh, almost caught holding the ball, but allowed to go was Peter Persinos. Goes back to Cansdall. He lets launch with a curvy drop punt. Almost the mark was completed. It was! Goodness gracious. That is a contender for mark of the day. In fact, I reckon it's the winner for mark of the day by a decent amount of daylight. Alex Mackay. Probably the better of the 2 Mackays today. So once again, they're just looking to try and win back a little bit more percentage. They don't want to lose too much as a result of today's loss, and stay in touch the next 3 weeks. He caps off a great mark with a stellar goal. So it's actually been one of the highest scoring quarters of the game, believe it or not. So it's become a very interesting contest. Pace of the game has increased in the last quarter, and or maybe the actual result itself. So I reckon we're about 20 minutes into the quarter at this stage would be my predicament. It was cleared by Tea Tree Gully, but the instant reply and the rebound will be conjured up by Port. Running into a bit of trouble there. Trent Heffernan mishand past it, although traffic continues to build in the middle. Here's Dwyer. He doesn't have the leg speed, but that's because he had a teammate to offer what he couldn't provide. And instead he'll focus on his defensive play. He won't need it though. Tom Gray managed to keep all of the defenders guessing, but his kick not so stellar. Tea Tree Gully player just redirecting his man to where he should be standing on the mark. Jack Asprey kicks it back and behind. Playing it safe now. They're not focusing on a miracle comeback there. Simply focusing on the basics now. And credit to the Tea Tree Gully fans as well. They've been very vocal throughout the game and were very up and about after they kicked 3 goals in a row, and that just shows that there's a lot of passion, academic at the result. Bit of holding infringement. Advantage is going to be paid. Cooper Gaffney darts it out, and it's going to look like Sam Gray's brother Tom Gray, who's had to move back up to being the deeper option, although this might be Gavin Shepherd as well. Just trying to get a bit of confirmation, because Tom Gray's down there, so the tattoo sleeve, this would be Gavin Shepherd. He's looking for goal number 3. He's had a very good game as well to equal Sam Gray's tally. He launches from the arc. That's a helicopter-style drop punt, and it's actually curved to the far side in this instance.
So minor score to Port Districts. Probably about 5 minutes to go in this one. Maybe a little bit longer. Tea Tree Gully bang it in long, looking for Penny. in front, Heffernan. Ball spills into his arms, and he's wrapped up by Tyler Martin. So Ferns, who's been good, it's been shoved out the way there by Penny, and Ferns will get the free kick. About 70 metres out. So Ferns, about 70 out. Latham's standing there and he's given away a 25 metre penalty. So Ferns now is going to have a shot. So the Gully coaches weren't happy there because they thought Tea Tree Gully player was just standing next to his opponent, but it was too close to Ferns. So Ferns sliced that one badly. Out wide. I think it's Sammy Gray's taking the mark. No, it's not Sam Gray. Sam Gray's off the ground. And now there's been some lip going on here again. So they're going to bring... Sure who it is over there. What be Hawkins, is it? Or yeah, it's Hawkins. So Hawkins going to come in and kick his third for the quarter. So there was something said to the umpire. So he was on a sharp angle but got brought into the goal square. So Tea Tree Gully boys just a bit frustrated with a few decisions. And these days, can't say too much to the umpires, or you'll be penalised. So yes, you can't say anything. That's the world we live in, unfortunately, now. So so ball back in the middle here. 3 goals to Harrison Hawkins this quarter. Margin back out to 7 goals. Williams throws the ball up. Ball spills out here to Latham, I think it is. Overruns it. Gould's there. Penny goes back and gets it. Now what can they do? Go forward here. He's being held on to, I think, there, Tyler Martin, and he's going to get a free. So, Tyler Martin, about 40 metres out, 35 metres out, 45-degree angle. Looking for Tea Tree Gully's 11th goal. In he comes. It's pretty good off the boot. Umpire does not move at all. Straight through the middle. So Tea Tree Gully get their 11th. They go to 11 goals, 571. And Port District 17-7, 111.
Go Gully!
17-7 is 100.
Well, 17-7 is actually worth 109 points, believe it or not. So once again, a little bit of a miscalculation. They've got 3 people on the scoreboard over there, so I reckon all of them have different opinions on the subject matter. They haven't fixed the core of the issue though yet, so we'll give you the update on what the real final scoreboard is supposed to be. The 11 goals 571 is correct, but 17 goals 7 should be 109 points. Mitchell Gaffney in the middle, gets tackled well. And umpire allowed play to resume pretty haphazardly. Hawkins, who's had a really good second half in my opinion, Hawkins. He's really stepped up, and particularly his scoreboard output has reigned supreme over a lot of it. Oh, McGrath trying to be a bit clever there. Oh, trying to juggle a couple men there. Dylan Wilson got it to Peter Persinos, who lets one fly from deep out. Oh, a bit of holding on there. And it's actually a goal, wow. Almost thought it could have been a free kick either way, but it doesn't matter. I reckon that was Ryan Spittle, if I'm correct. No, it was Tyler Martin again. Pardon my French. So he's kicked another goal. And they're just reeling back once again a lot of that scoreboard damage. And because it's such a high-scoring game, the percentage damage won't be as bad as what it could have been. And you just feel like if there was a bit more of this high-paced action at the beginning of the game, that things could have gone a little bit differently. So it's 70 goals, 7,109 to 12 goals, 577. That reads a 32-point game. Penny. Once again, this is a long quarter because of how high-scoring it is. Mackay again. Alex Mackay's had a really good second half as well. Bit of a risky kick there, but it finds its way into the hands of Mitch Napper. Oh, and that almost looked like it could have been a risky proposition, but it finds its way into the hands of Joshua Spence. Oh, once again, too risky. They kept daring and daring and daring, and eventually it led to a pretty tumultuous turnover. Now Thomas Schmush. There's no one down in the goal square, so it's a foot race. Gavin Shepherd hand passes selflessly to Tom Gray. He does the same to Dwyer. Back to Tom Gray. He'll go with the snap for goal, and he gets the finish. Team goal there for Port Districts.
This last quarter of the game's opened right up. Plenty of goals. Tea Tree Gully fought hard. Kicked 12 goals themselves here, so just a bit more class. A bit more scores from turnovers been the difference today. So ball back in the middle. Not long to go here now. Ferns and Penny have been at it all day. Ball's knocked out to Passaniti. Passaniti pumps it in long. Friday with a good fist. No, it was. Yes, it was. The ball spills. I'm not sure who it was. Who it was. It might have been Smush, but just drifted across face of goal through for a minor score. So now Tea Tree Gully are going to go back themselves through the middle. Bredden swings out wide to Canstel. Latham's there. He gets around well. Centres the ball. Risky kick though. Westra's picked the ball up now, or he hasn't. He's fumbled. He's tackled by Personos. Wrapped up. Well done, Peter Personos. A good tackle. So there'll be a throw up. 60 metres out. Penny handballs the ball down to Gaffney. Heffernan's there. He's wrapped up in a tackle. And there'll be another ball up. It's a cool breeze. Comes across the oval here. Sun setting. Districts are going to be back in the winner's circle today. So ball comes out to Heffernan. He's played a good game. Shepherd on the lead. Collects. Gives the ball to Hawkins. It's kicked 3 this quarter. Pumps it in long. Smush. Good spoil. Ball spills down now to Bredden. Bredden centres the ball to Latham, I think it is. Look out. No, you can't do that. Carpenter came across and he's going to give him a 25-metre penalty. So Latham, it's been dangerous at times up forward. A couple of leads offered there from Personos. So Latham pumps it right to the square. Penny's there, but the ball is rushed through for a minor score. So Grieg moves the ball out to Gaffney. Cooper Gaffney has been one of Port District's best. He's going to go back to Grieg. Dangerous kick inboard to Davison. Back to Gaffney, playing around, messing around with it a bit here. Now Grieg. He pumps it in long. A lot of Gully's players there. Robinson there. Fumbled it a bit, collects. Picked up there by Lockie Grieg. He's tackled. All a bit scrappy here. Bodies flying everywhere, and there'll be another ball up about 15 metres out from the Tea Tree Gully goal.
So big now to see, tell you what, I reckon the Port District's team have been so even that some of the best players from this match might stand out more from the opposition. 18 goals, 8, 118. 12 goals, 678. Scoreboard reads a 40-point margin. And in front of us, there's been a call. It looks like it'll be going Port's way. Chimney smoker started to dial down and reminiscent to the game itself. Gavin Shepherd, been one of Port's best. He's had great presence. Some nice handball chains. Tom Gray's down there deep, but he doesn't need him. He'll instead go to Thomas Schmush, who after serving a little bit of time out during the second half, particularly that third quarter, he's got an opportunity for a late goal here. So this will add so much time on. This has easily been one of the longest quarters this year, but it will come to an end, and fittingly with a set shot after the siren, which Thomas Smush converts. So that finishes our game at Largs Oval. It's been a really nice afternoon of football. Beautiful overcast weather. Hopefully it will only get better from here as the rest of August and September are worth of conditions yet to play out. And the final margin, 19 goals, 8, 124 to 78 points. It was overall a 46-point defeat for Tea Tree Gully, and well, we don't know what the results from the other games are, but keep in touch with the Between the Posts show to find out more, of course, from the division specialists as well as the general coverage to see what the weekend of footy was like. If you missed out on the live games, of course, you can watch the replays as well on the Filming Footy YouTube channel. And we'd like to thank our sponsors as well, including Sportal, our scoreboard sponsor, Dartfish for making this coverage possible. Make sure ratify Archie Thongs as well. We'd like to thank all of our sponsors and, more importantly, our fans for watching these live broadcast coverages. We really appreciate your time, and we always look forward to bringing you better coverage in the future because there's always room for improvement. Of course, I'd like to thank our cameraman, and I'd also like to thank Nathan Woods for being my co-commentator today. Your final word, Nathan?
Thanks, Indy. Yeah, it's been a great day, good game. I think, yeah, just a bit more polish going forward. Port Districts, they did hurt Tea Tree Gully on some turnovers as well, and yeah, I think Tea Tree Gully just struggled for a big target up forward. We saw Penny go up there a couple of times and take some good marks, but a lot of the time they just bombed it in long to some small forwards, Tea Tree Gully, and just didn't have that polish, and Port Districts probably moved the ball a little bit better and were a bit cleaner by foot, and that probably told at the end of the day.
Thank you very much for that last word, Nathan. And normally we'd be talking about who's the best players from each team, but we're not going to do that because it's all done in the shadows now. The Roll the Dice Media Player of the Year award will be determined at the season's end. And because of that, we'll be deciding who the best players are behind the scenes. But don't forget to watch the replay or make up your own mind on who you think the best players are and catch Between the Posts to get a little bit more information about all the games. We thank you for your time, and we look forward to bringing you more live action in the coming weeks towards finals.